Good afternoon. I'm Mike Blaylock with Intel, and we're proud to be a sponsor of the FinTech Sandbox. It's my pleasure this afternoon to introduce Bob Levy and John Horcher from Virtual Cove. Bob has led product and product line management at IBM and MathWorks, and John has financial markets and business development experience with SunGard, BIA, TIM Group, and EDS. Their solution applies virtual reality in a manner that lets you see through the maze of data and gain valuable insights in a fraction of the time. So please welcome Virtual Cove.
Thanks very much, Mike. Our solution helps you use the power of spatial perception to be able to take in much more data than you could possibly, leveraging and weaving together many factors in a way that helps you solve otherwise impossible problems. So your brain evolved over millions of years to take in information spatially around you. Every time you get behind the wheel of your car, you're dealing with hundreds of different factors across thousands of things going on in your spatial environment. It's very different than the way we look at data on screens today. The way our solution helps by integrating with your data and presenting it to you spatially helps you do the same thing for financial markets. So it's very much like rocket fuel anywhere you might pivot or slice, plot, or chart data, or perhaps try to train a machine learning model. Traders are looking for many screens. They're trying to find opportunity and maintain a complex mental model across many things happening in the financial ecosystem. Now, see the markets the way we do. These are 500 charts forming in unison. The height of each bar represents the closing price of a given stock. The color from yellow to red is showing the volume traded. The organization is by sector of the economy. Now, one of the first things we saw, some time ago actually, looking at the industrials sector. Low volume, not much happening. Then all of a sudden, one of the stocks breaks to a higher high. That stock happened to be ADT. The break was on low volume. Here it is. And then after that happened, money flowed into the entire sector. It's not the kind of pattern or anomaly we'd think to train a machine to be looking for. And it's also not the kind of thing we'd see with charts or otherwise. But it is something very powerful under the right conditions in the market. Our first paying customer saw this on a screen much like you just did and didn't know what to make of it until they put the headset on. With the headset on, the reaction was, this is 1,000 times more powerful than we could have imagined. Work and deployment is underway. Another example, take a portfolio or a universe of a few thousand stocks, 12 factors feeding in. We traditionally visualize this kind of data using a scatter plot. You might animate it over time, but a scatter plot is still limited to just 4 factors at once. If you're interested in seeing more and not omitting 8 of those 12 columns, or perhaps many more columns, well, that's where pivoting data came from. It was a workaround to be able to deal with the limitations of a flat screen. It turns out that there are 495 combinations of these different plots you'd have to look at to get all of the perspectives on that data set. 5 minutes looking at each scatter plot, that's over 40 hours of work. If you scale this as most alpha models will to many more columns, well, with 50 columns, you're dealing with a decade's work. The task grows geometrically as you add more columns or factors. And that's why we throw data into a machine. Machine learning is great, but it lacks the benefit of your experience. And we found a way to leverage the best of both.
We democratize data science so you can see connections in your data you couldn't see any other way. It's hard to see on the flat screen, but it's easy to see in the headset. I'm looking at 8 dimensions, 8 axes, in visual space right now, easily seen. For example, when we look at Google versus Amazon, Google has a much higher valuation based on sales, and Apple, though, has a higher dividend yield. BlackRock is glowing brightly based on its high EBITDA versus its peers. Citibank has a high book value, and based on the z-axis metric, it is high. In addition, I can see all 500 S&P stocks besides the standard X, Y, and Z position. With those 5 additional metrics I can see via glow, opacity, and other factors. This simple plot would unfold into 70 plots if on a sheet of paper with a 4-dimension scatter plot. So Virtual Coves gives you better answers, orders of magnitude faster.
One of the company's advisors is on faculty as a professor at MIT. He's a world-leading expert in spatial and computational geometry. He helped build a model that quantifies just how impactful what we've invented is. But more important than the model is your own experience. Every time you drive a car, you may have thousands of things going on around you, many factors, and then instantly, pedestrian steps in front. Your brain, your massive supercomputer in your head knows exactly what to do instantly. Now we help you do that with your data. So what's interesting is we've user tested this with 100 data scientists, portfolio managers, quants. Deployment is well underway. We help funds gain sustainable edge in the markets, and I say sustainable because it's as unique, the edge you find is as unique as your experience in the markets is. This is a tool to amplify what you already do well. The product is headset agnostic. The SDK that we offer allows for integrating with existing systems and workflows. The best thing is you don't have to wear a headset all day. You gain the insight rapidly, insight you may not otherwise, or often wouldn't have otherwise found, and you have more time to take action on what it is that you can do in the markets. So our mission is simple. We want to help you find opportunity, reduce risk, and govern complex AI models you'd have otherwise few ways to understand beyond a data science team. I want to thank the entire FinTech Sandbox team, FactSet and CME, for all of the great support through the process. And I look forward to each of you trying the headset hands-on and continuing the discussion. Thanks.